Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is CRE Insight with the SoCal CCIM chapter, where we shine light on extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. Welcome to the show, JP. Would you like to introduce yourself?
JP Ledesma, Beacon 1031. It's our sales group. We're part of Emerson Equity. And my specialty is in assisting people with 1031 exchanges and providing them with the up-leg properties. Typically, those properties are in the DST or Delaware Statutory Trust legal entities. Always try to look out for the interests of the client first as much as possible. And I tend to be a little bit more analytical. So I've found, for example, each one of these DSTs comes along with a private placement memorandum. I've had a few I've come across where they've had mistakes I found. So I'm willing to take a little bit more critical look. So each person's circumstance is different. Tax issues are different, goals are different. It all comes down to what we believe would achieve their goals in the safest possible manner. And we look at, also what is the potential return on equity. So we just really get down to what the client needs, kind of work out what their goals are and what makes sense. I mean, how much are heirs a consideration? Do they want cash flow, or do they want the heirs to be able to get money right away? Things of that nature. And sometimes people are a little bit more strategic. Like I've had a couple clients that maybe put not all their money in one DST, but a large sum, thinking that what they're going to do is go in the DST. When the DST sells, they're going to use that money to buy a retirement community home in another state, and then convert that from a rental to a primary residence in the future.
Well, I love the fact that you go deep and scrub these offering memorandums. Looking back, I heard from a fellow board member of the SoCal CCIM chapter, Lauren Coombs, that she had a great experience working with you. And one of the things that she said that really touched my heart was, even if her client does not qualify for a 1031 exchange, that you are willing to help them optimize their next decision. Could you tell us a little bit about that, like what your thinking is in that situation?
Right. So, my focus is 1031 exchanges and having people invest in these Delaware Statutory Trusts with that equity. We still have other products available that help people with tax mitigation. So when you sell a business, you have what's known typically as a 1231 gain. Right. So we have products to help offset those types of capital gains. And then if someone has a year where they have very high earned income, there's steps that we can take also with other types of products that would help reduce that tax liability. And it's all unique to the individual. Now, typically when we get into a deeper discussion, I'll loop in a tax professional, but there are a lot of people oftentimes are not aware of. So once I have that discussion with them, then I can offer what I think is a good suggestion. And then we bring in a tax advisor and kind of finish up the strategy from there. So what I like about Emerson Equity, for example, they've been in this private placement market since 2004. While Delaware Statutory Trusts are entities that were codified into law in Delaware, and they've been around for decades. It was only since 2004 due to an IRS revenue ruling where the IRS formally recognized these as qualifying for 1031 exchanges. So I think having a broker, so to speak, that's the industry or an industry leader is quite helpful in many ways. And beyond that, both Gabe and I, were involved in investment real estate before we got into this niche. So we look at this through the eyes of a person in real estate. So a lot of times people in this industry will say that they have real estate experience, but they've never sold real property, but they sold a real estate investment trust, which are securities. Most people selling this have never done a real estate transaction, have never owned investment properties, have never done investment property exchanges. So that's where we are quite different.
Great. Now, if people have questions, how can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to reach you? What's your preferred method of contact? How's that?
Oh, I love phone calls. So 949-606-9898. Or you can go to my Beacon 1031 and have my contact information there.
Great.
Beacon1031.com. No, anytime you have a question about a 1031 exchange, feel free to run the ideas by me. I'm certainly willing to help. And, if I don't have a solution, I'll let you know I don't have a solution for you and hopefully point you in the right direction or on the people that can help you with your client or you or your client's situation.
Great. Well, thank you for your time, JP. This was a very illuminating conversation. I really enjoyed it. I love every time you and I talk, it gets me thinking about different opportunities. So thank you very much for that.
All right, thank you.
Well, that's it for today's episode of CRE Insight. We will catch you in the next episode. Thank you, JP. We really appreciate you as a sponsor, a friend, and a resource. Thank you so much.
All right, Jamie, thank you.